We all love tight races. Seeing a team running riot in the league and winning the thing in December just can't compare to multiple teams falling over each other to get the winner's medal. You could say the adrenaline rush is like nothing before. Ask Bayern fans, they are still drunk of ecstasy. But it is still a cruel affair, especially for the losers. Imagine fighting tooth and nail only to lose to the rivals at the end of the day. Dortmund fans are still rolling in their sleep. All the drama and confusion can give you some severe heart conditions. But hey, that is football. It is moments like these that we live for. Welcome to Football Pro. In this video, we're going to talk about the tightest championships that were decided in the last game. This channel is dedicated to bringing you awesome regular content in and around the beautiful game of football. Let's dive in. The three-way race, 2001-02 Bundesliga. We all remember that Zinedine Zidane volley in the 2002 UCL final? That goal breeds pure nostalgia, and we can get enough of its slow-mo montages. Real Madrid sealed their 9th European Cup that night. But hold up, this is not about Zidane, or even Real Madrid. While Madrid fans were going crazy across the planet, Bayer Leverkusen fans were left drowning in a sea of heartbreak. Why, you ask? Well, they just won the trophy that nobody wants, the second-place treble. Yep, you heard it right. They finished as runners-up in the Champions League, Bundesliga, and DFB Pokal. Before Zidane and his wonder volley, Bayer Leverkusen already had the most painful Bundesliga season. In that league madness, there was a three-way race between Bayern Munich, Bayer Leverkusen, and Borussia Dortmund. The drama unfolded week after week. Bayern Munich slipped from the top spot after an unexpected loss to Werder Bremen on matchday 13. Things went from bad to worse as they plummeted to 5th place due to a string of lackluster performances. Meanwhile, Dortmund saw their chance and pounced, drawing level with Leverkusen at the top. Both teams kept changing hands, with Dortmund finally taking the lead on matchday 20. But guess what? They fumbled it when Leverkusen body slammed them in a 4-goal thrashing on matchday 24. Ouch! Leverkusen thought they had it in the bag, increasing their lead by 4 points on matchday 29, only to crash and burn with 2 devastating losses. Dortmund was back at the top. This game of snakes and ladders was getting real. Fast forward to the grand finale. All 3 clubs played at home, and all 3 won their respective matches by a 1-goal margin. The final standings were 68 for Bayern Munich, 69 for Bayer Leverkusen, and champions Borussia Dortmund with 70. Zidane's goal was only a chef's kiss to their misery. That season was one to forget for Leverkusen. The Italian job, 2001-02 Serie A. Most teams that achieve promotion to the top flight are just happy to be there and look to make a top 7. But not Chievo Verona. They were new kids on the block in the 2001-02 Serie A. And these guys shook the league like nobody expected. In fact, it was their first ever stint in the top flight. Week after week, they held on to their fairy tale run, giving fans hope that the impossible was within reach. But like all good things, the dream ended and their form fizzled out, tumbling to 5th place on the final day. Enter the usual suspect, Inter Milan, who had been going head-to-head with Chievo since the season began. They were exchanging blows and swapping positions like it was nobody's business. But just when it seemed like Inter had the upper hand, AS Roma defeated Chievo and the dominoes fell for AC Milan to grab the top spot, while Inter settled for 2nd place. But it was far from over. Inter had their chance to bounce back when they faced Bologna on matchday 22. Easy win, right? Bologna pulled off an underdog shocker and sent Inter crashing down. Across the country, Juventus stole 2nd place after holding Roma to a draw. What in the madness was going on? And it dragged on and on. With only 3 games left, the title was anyone's for the taking, and another round of drama started. Inter looked like they had it in the bag, but guess who had other plans? Chievo, the thorn in their side, struck again, denying Inter the victory they desperately needed. And Roma? Well, they faced their bitter rivals, AC Milan, only to come up short. It was like a bad dream for both teams, while Juventus closed in, closing the gap to a single point. The pressure was mounting, and the tension was off the chart. Then came the day of reckoning. On the final match day, Inter Milan, the self-proclaimed favorites, stumbled when it mattered most in a 2-2 draw against Lazio. The title slipped through their fingers, landing right in Juventus's lap. It was a gut-wrenching moment for Inter fans and a wild jubilee for Juve supporters. El Clasico 2006-07 La Liga. El Clasico, it has always been a banger. The skills, goals, and punches all box office worthy. Mostly because a lot of things are at stake. Bragging rights, yes, but also trophies. Real Madrid and Barcelona have met in cup finals, UEFA Champions League semifinals, and some pivotal league matches. In the 2006-07 La Liga season, Barcelona was sitting pretty at the top until their visit to the Bernabeu. Nothing went according to plan that day for Frank Rijkaard's men. Van Nistelrooy's killer instincts and Raúl's strike handed Los Blancos the win and left the Catalans scratching their heads. But just when it seems like all hope is lost, a teenage footballer named Lionel Messi bursts onto the scene and brings Barca back to life. Messi's magic put wind in their sails once again, and things were looking bright. The next El Clasico was a 3-3 draw, where Messi scored a hat-trick to keep them alive. Unfortunately, Messi's heroics weren't enough. Barcelona soon started stumbling, losing games left and right. They watched their once comfy lead slip away like sand through their fingers. As the final day of the season approaches, both Barcelona and Real Madrid find themselves level on points, setting the stage for an epic showdown. Both teams give it their all on that decisive day. Real Madrid hosted Mallorca and were down 0-1 at halftime, while Barcelona kept their fingers crossed after thrashing Gymnastic 5-1. In the second half, goals from José Antonio Reyes and Mahmoudou Diarra brought Los Blancos roaring back with a 3-1 win. As La Liga's head-to-head rules would have it, Real Madrid won the league based off their 2-0 win earlier in the season. Oh, by the way, a lot of hard work and care goes into these videos, so if you could help us out and click that lovely subscribe button, we'd greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up too. England is Manchester, 2011-12 Premier League. Ah yes, the tale that never gets old. The stage was set for an epic clash between Manchester United and Manchester City in the 2011-12 Premier League season. But this showdown was not just about the city of Manchester, but the whole country. That season, both Manchester teams were twinning on the pitch with a similar 28 wins, 5 draws, and 5 losses. The league had witnessed some nail-biting title races, but this one was something else. Heading into the final day, both teams stood at 86 points, ready to give it their all. And boy did they deliver. In the first half, they both took the lead against their opponents, setting the stage for an intense battle to the finish. But here's where it gets wild. The citizens had a bit of a meltdown in the second half after they blew their lead. Queen's Park Rangers, who were fighting to avoid relegation, came from behind to score not once but twice. Tears were flowing, hopes were crumbling, and City seemed destined to hand the title to their rivals. As the clock ticked closer to the final whistle, the board raised a sign indicating 5 minutes of added time. Erdin Dzeko rose up to meet a corner and bring color back to the Blues. Oh boy, they weren't crazy. And with 3 more minutes left, they threw everything they had at QPR. And then, in the blink of an eye, it happened. Aguero! The rest, as they say, is history. 89, 1988, 89, English First Division. If you thought City's triumph was crazy, let's take you back to 23 years before that crazy day. In the 1988-89 season, the Old English Division was ready for Liverpool to bottle another league title. After all, the Reds had a rocky start to the year. On April 15, tragedy struck as 96 Liverpool supporters lost their lives in the Hillsborough disaster, an event that still sends shivers down the spines of Anfield fans. But amidst the heartbreak, Liverpool managed to lift the FA Cup against Everton and even complete a fantastic league season. The grand finale was a showdown against Arsenal just 6 days later. Liverpool's mission was simple: avoid defeat by a margin of 2 or more goals. The match, originally scheduled weeks earlier, took place on May 26th. Arsenal, who hadn't won at Liverpool in 15 years, were determined to snatch the title from their rivals. It was a clash of titans on the final day of the season. The Scousers were dreaming of a domestic double and were fired up to win in front of the Copites. However, they didn't back it up. The first half was a snooze fest, but things heated up in the second. Alan Smith broke the deadlock in the 53rd minute, giving Arsenal hope. But as the clock ticked closer to 90 minutes, they couldn't find another breakthrough. But the magic happened in injury time. Michael Thomas, the Gunners' midfield maestro, got hold of the ball just outside the Liverpool box and unleashed a banger. Everybody went crazy. The Arsenal bench players and traveling fans went bonkers, screaming their heads off. Liverpool fans went into a total meltdown. It was a nightmare for them. They had no time to recover, and it was all over in seconds. Both teams ended the season with the same number of points, 76, and identical goal differences. But it was Arsenal who snatched the glory due to their superior goal tally. Can you believe it? What followed was a painful 30-year wait for Liverpool to taste league success again. Meanwhile, Arsenal basked in the glory of their first league title in 18 years. The season's breathtaking moments were even turned into a movie called 89 Inches to immortalize the epic saga that unfolded. Thanks so much for sticking around until the end of the video. We hope you enjoyed it. But why stop now? Click this video right here for more awesome content.